forward today. Today's a brand new day. It's a brand new season.
You're listening to Arkansas Preps Weekly on Natural State Sports, your top source for the biggest news in high school sports across Arkansas.
Here we go. Here we go.
What is up, everybody? Thanks for joining us on episode 18 of Arkansas Preps Weekly. It's a special edition that we got for you today. We're going to have the newest Arkansas Razorback commit from Parkview High School, Mr. Quentin Murphy, and also his coach, Brad Bolding, that is just coming off of leading the Patriots to 2 consecutive 5A state championships. Before we get started on this, I want to remind you guys, go ahead and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, if you haven't already. Also on the audio platforms, we're on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen, we are there. And before we get started here, I want to go ahead and pay the bills and tell you about our friends at Athletic Field Service of Arkansas, because a properly graded infield is not only important for player safety, but also the field's health. No company in the state can match the exceptional service and dedication like our friends at Athletic Field Service of Arkansas in Sherwood. From infield renovation, lip removal and edging, mound rehab, laser leveling, and much more, Jeremy Rice and his crew have you covered. Call Jeremy at 501-416-1218. That's 501-416-1218 today for your free evaluation and consultation. You can also check them out on Facebook or see what else they have to offer by searching Athletic Field Service of Arkansas online. Athletic Field Service of Arkansas, we got the dirt on your infield. Well, guys, first off, I want to thank you for joining us. I know it's been kind of crazy, Quentin, with you committing yesterday. As we record here, I guess we're live in this instance, but about 24 hours ago, you committed to the Arkansas Razorbacks. So I'll ask you first, man. I know that you have been down this road before, and we'll talk about that some. But as far as just getting this out of the way, now you can focus on your senior season. How does it feel?
It feels pretty good getting out the way. Committing early. People told me to wait until my senior year to commit, but I want to go ahead and do it because I felt it was right, and my heart was telling me to do it, so I just go ahead and do it.
And Coach Bolding, appreciate you joining us. I know you got some things going on up in Northwest Arkansas today, but you've got 5 guys. I believe it's 5 right now that I have at least have multiple college offers, but 5 that have from the home state Razorbacks, and Quentin, of course, is one that just now committed, as we just mentioned. But just what has this been like? You're bringing in a guy. This is already a star-studded team that you have. What is Quentin bringing to your team, the studs that you already do have?
Well, the thing about Quentin is he's been there. He's been a starter, and when you get a guy that's been playing varsity football out on the field on Friday nights, that's a huge difference in just getting a good athlete that's just now coming to light. I mean, this guy's been, I think, Quentin, since 9th grade, you've been their quarterback. So I mean, it's like he's been at the helm for a while, and so he just brings a whole lot to the table for us. From how much we like to run the football and what we can do with him there, and then our passing game and he knows from spring ball, all he's got to do is get the ball in their hands, and you don't know what's going to happen.
And Quentin, that's a great point that you brought up, Coach. That's a great segue into what we were going to mention, because it's been a real busy 2 years for you, because you get I believe it was your first offer, first P5 offer, at least from Utah in April or so of 2022. So before your sophomore year. So between your freshman and sophomore year, you were getting heavily looked at and everything. You ended up committing to Ole Miss from the get-go. And that was, June of 2023, something like that. So just kind of talk about the recruiting process, really from that first offer and the first couple that you had gotten prior to your sophomore year, and just what it's been like up to this point.
So my first offer, again, Utah was really the beginning. And people started seeing I was getting Utah, so people started calling, offering me. And after that, it went very smooth. I was getting more offers like Bama, Colorado, Georgia, and it was really pretty smooth from there.
One thing that's really interesting, so you got your offer from the Razorbacks about 2 years ago, and it was a lot different. Of course, Sam Pittman was still there, but at the time, Kendall Briles was the OC. Of course, you had Kenny Guyton that was the wide receivers coach. Now you've got, of course, Bobby Petrino that's the OC, and then Ronnie Fowkes that he brought in, of course, that's on his tree as well. So just kind of talk about some of the similarities or differences that you've noticed from the coaches that you've dealt with at Arkansas.
I'm gonna start with Coach Petrino. He's a good guy. He's smart. He knows what he's doing. Last time he was there for Arkansas, they had a winning record. And when he left, stuff started to go downhill. But he's back now, so Arkansas is gonna get back on track. Coach Ronnie, that's my guy. He's cool. He's gonna bring a lot to the table too. And Coach Browse, he was a good guy too. I was kind of hurt when he left. And Dan Enos, he was a good guy too. But I already knew he was gonna leave. So
Well, and going along with, so one of the other ones that's in this class is now Conway quarterback Grayson Wilson, who has also experienced, because he was the first one to commit for 2025 to the Razorbacks. So he's experienced some of those changes, but also he's experienced coaching changes in high school, just as you have. So what you've already endured? Again, I know you haven't played for Parkview as far in a real game yet or anything, but what are some things that you have learned with the changes on the coaching staff with now that you've dealt with different ones for Arkansas, and of course you're also going to be playing for a different high school coach now as well?
Uh, the changes, like Coach Bowden's very, he gonna stay on you. He gonna stay on you. So I like that though, because at my old school they ain't really stay on me. But Coach Bowden, he's all about business, and I like that. And all the coaches are actually they don't play, they want you you're gonna become a man after Parkview season. You're gonna become a real football player. And Arkansas changed. It's really it's really cool. But we getting better, good coaches too at the same time. But it really ain't nothing to it.
And Coach Bowling, I wanted to ask you, I think it was after you guys beat Bryant last year that you and I had talked about it. I asked you the question about how do you manage this many guys that just have the amount of talent that you do have on your roster? And one of the things, and I'm paraphrasing you here, but you had just talked about how they're really good about celebrating each other's successes. And then again, you just, as we talked about, you've added another one here in Quentin. And so how fun has that been to just watch this unfold, to watch your guys get these offers, to see them go to the next level, but also winning state championships and getting all those individual accolades as well?
Really good question. Oh, it's unbelievable. Every day I get to go to work and work with these guys. So that's kind of special to me. And all my coaches feel the same way. It's just it's a great culture right now at Parkview. I mean, just the kids celebrate each other. Like I said, it's not, we'd never get anybody to come, I need the ball. Y'all got to give me the ball. You throw me the football. We don't have any of that. I mean, it's all about winning, and as an individual, getting better each day that you get out and practice. That's what we're. I mean, in a nutshell, it's nothing complicated. It's pretty simple, but it is business. And when we get out there, what I always tell everybody, we have a very competitive atmosphere. It's like college football, so you have to come out to practice every day, or you'll go in there on that depth chart and it'll start changing and you'll see names all over the place, because that's the type of environment we have been able to create. And so I think our players are really, really benefiting from that right now.
And Quentin, I know that it's been reported that as of right now, it looks like that you're probably going to play receiver at the University of Arkansas. And then the two other schools that I know, at least per 247 from what I had seen, it came down to Georgia Tech and Syracuse. So those were your final three: Arkansas, Georgia Tech, Syracuse. Were they looking at you, both of those other two schools looking at you at wide receiver as well, or were they possibly one quarterback?
Quarterback. But at Arkansas, I talked to Coach Pitt. It was whatever I come in and want to play, I could try it. But he want me to stick to quarterback. But I'm gonna see how it goes when I get down there.
And I wanted to ask you about this is just kind of something I'm curious about, because Lane Kiffin is one of my favorite follows on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. And I know probably many would agree. You were committed to Ole Miss before, and obviously dealing with him some. Is he about the same person that you would like? As far as, I mean, I know he's business when it comes to football, but just as far as a jokester and all that, what is he like in real life? Is that pretty much what you see is what you get?
Yeah, he is a jokester. He joke all day. He's a good guy though. He's gonna joke with you though. He's gonna joke with you.
Yeah, for sure. And man, I know that on top of Georgia Tech, Syracuse, as we mentioned, Ole Miss, you talked about Alabama was one of the offers that you had, Oregon, OU, just a who's who list of teams across the country. So, and I know this is a question that a ton of kids get, or really any kid that commits to Arkansas gets, but what really was it in the end, the difference about Arkansas with all the offers that you did have in the end? What was the difference about the home state Razorbacks?
The difference was the communication with all the coaches, staying on my tail, checking on me every day, every morning, seeing how I'm doing, going down there to go visit, that really was like the ice on the cake. The communication part was for sure.
And wanted to ask you too. I'd mentioned a second ago that it was 5 of you guys. So I've got the list here. So it's yourself, obviously, that has the offer from Arkansas, and you committed to it. And then it's also Cam Settles, Monterio, as they call Money Elston, and Amarian Robinson. That's the guys in your class, and then of course Ja'Cory Smith from 2026. So I don't want to speak for you, but I would imagine you've probably known a lot of these guys, if not all of them, for a long time, just growing up around Arkansas. Just kind of talk about the relationship that you had maybe before, and then that you guys have developed now.
Oh yeah, they're my brothers. We used to play IWFL, Little League football together. Me and Money was on teams, and we'll go against Man on another team. Like, he was playing for the Wolfpacks, and Ja'Cory was playing for some other team. But we all went against each other, and we just built a relationship after that. We all went to summer camps together, camps, and all that. We practiced together. We just had a good bond as little kids, and I'm great to be a part of Parkview to join them for my senior season.
And Coach Boldy, I wanted to ask you, now you've got a new offensive coordinator for this year. Clay Bemberg, of course, did a great job for you for a long time, and he's now at Lone Oak. And if I'm not mistaken, now forgive me for my ignorance, if you did hire from within, if I'm not mistaken on that. So just kind of talk about, obviously if it's not broke, don't fix it, but just anything, maybe tweaks that you guys might have on offense that could be noticeable this year.
Well, Claude Johnson, he's the offensive coordinator, and he's my brother's first quarterback at Pine Bluff High School. So he's got some tradition behind him. He gets what, because me and Bobby are so much alike in what we do in our coaching style. So he just fits that chemistry really well. And he's young, he's a go-getter. And so we're really excited about him taking over to him. I think Quincy can speak on it too. I think he's been very pleased with how he's helped develop him, and we're going to continue to develop him the rest of the summer. But Claude's going to be he's young. He's going to be a heck of a coach. He's an up-and-comer for sure. And then we just hired Xavier Flowers. He was at Little Rock Central, and he's a new up-and-comer guy. And we just hired him because we had lost Coach Mitchell to Bryant. So hired Xavier Flowers yesterday.
I knew that I was going to kick myself once you talked Claude Johnson. I think he was a year or two younger than me, so I remember him at Pine Bluff playing for your brother very well. And Quentin, I'll let you add on to that, man. Again, just talking about new coaches a second ago, it seems like the transition's gone really well so far. So, what are some things that really connected well with Coach Johnson?
Coach Johnson, I don't know, he just get me because we like the same person. His personality good, he competitive, and he wants to win. And that's all he want to do is win and dominate. And I like that about him. That's he fits me.
And building on to that, one of the games that you guys get to play, I know Coach Bolding was looking for a really good out-of-state matchup, and he sure found it in Melissa, Texas. So you guys get to go play there. And for those that aren't familiar, Melissa's just north of Dallas, so right there in the metro area. So you're going to get to go play a really good Melissa, Texas team, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, finished in the top 25, 30 nationally last year. But just going to get to play on that kind of stage, you already play great competition, not only in your non-conference matchups, but in the 5A South as well. But being able to go play against a Texas team, what does that mean?
It's a good feeling, their stadium is nice. I was just looking at that the other day. Their stadium is nice. Texas football is different, but it's gonna be a good atmosphere. A lot of people gonna be there, and we're gonna shock the world because we're coming in as the underdogs. Being a Little Rock team, playing a Texas team, so we're coming in as the underdog. So we're just gonna keep working this whole summer, build a connection and go down there August 31st and do what we got to do.
We've been talking with new Razorback commit and Parkview athlete Quentin Murphy, along with his coach, Mr. Brad Bolding. Guys, I really appreciate you joining us. I know Sundays are crazy, and then it's about to get what, man, right around the corner as we're now in June. So the season is getting here really close. Look forward to seeing you guys. I'm sure I'll be out there at some point this summer before we get into the season. But really appreciate both of you taking time out. And like I said, we'll be seeing you here soon, I'm sure.
Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate it. Good to see
Thank
you.
you.
See you, bud.
All right, Coach.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Again, you can check us out on naturalstatesports.com. Also, I guess I'm back now for briefly, naturalstatesports.com. And then also, obviously, on the YouTube channel. That's where you're watching here, Natural State Sports. And you can listen on iHeartRadio, Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen. We are there. But that'll do it for episode 18. Thank you guys for joining us. For Quentin Murphy and Coach Brad Bolding, my name's Kyle Sutherland. We'll catch you later.